this slide where it says about the speaker. So this is where I'm supposed to like make introduction about myself. Or Bialuja has already said everything that I need to say. And I've already given a little bit rundown of myself. So I think I'm just going to skip this. All right.
I mean,
Um,
we can
yeah.
always hear from the horse's mouth himself, right? Who you're the best person that can describe yourself. So we can always hear from you, about you from you rather. So
What do I want to say? Okay. So aside from the fact I work as a design manager in for clients, our client is a US based like agency, right? So we're a software development firm, but we're also a product led company, meaning that we have products, in-house products, right? That we develop and we share to the world for the world to use, and like basically service companies as well, service clients on the agency side. So I have a team of 17 designers. One of my team members is actually here today. Like, I love that, bro. Man. Shout out to Mohammed. um, okay, so I'm an anime lover. I love to watch anime. For those of you who don't watch anime, please do. You can reach out to me personally, and I can recommend anime for you. Then I love to read books. I love. Oh shit, my book is not here. But I've showed you the book I'm reading right now. And aside from that, I am a shy person. I don't like to socialize that much. But unfortunately, being a design manager means you have to socialize, you have to talk to people. So I do most of my talking in the company, but outside of that, I am always indoors and either sleeping, watching anime, eating food, or reading a book. So yeah, I have a reserved personality. Yeah, that's much about me. So let's get right onto it. All right, for today. So yeah, so what is the gist about here? What is product design management, right, or design management? And what is it about? Why do companies need it, right? And why do you need it as a designer? And then what are the type of works a product design manager do? And what are the needs about product design management, right? And well, I'm also going to talk about like how to become one today. So moving straight to it. So what is management in a nutshell? So management is basically like in every company, in every business, right? Management is the act of basically working with people, working with processes, right? And then effectively making sure that both sides of the coin, as people and processes, right? Both sides like collaborate effectively. You are like the middleman between people and the processes in the company. So what does that mean in a nutshell? You are the one who enforces those processes in not like quote unquote enforces or not really enforces. You basically help guide people, right? You help manage people in the sense of guiding them to enforce those processes, to do those processes, right? And then making sure that these guys are good, these guys are happy, and these guys are working in a very conducive environment. So that's basically what it means to manage, right? So it's in a lot of activities that it involves is planning, organizing, controlling, staffing or directing people, right? And then improving on the processes, how they work. That's what I mean by those processes. So that's what it means to be a manager. So so now, what does it mean to be a design manager? So a design manager basically, right, is someone who's responsible for developing high quality standard products, right? Someone who, when I mean by someone who develops high quality standard products, I don't mean by coding or designing, right? I mean by you are kind of like think of it in a car, right? No, let's not use a car. Let's use the analogy of a restaurant, right? So when you go into a restaurant, like all these really nice fancy restaurants on the island of Lagos, you are in love with the aesthetics, right? And then if you're lucky enough to see the kitchen, when you go to the kitchen, you realize that, oh, there's this really amazing food I ordered, right? And it came so fast, like in 30 minutes. How did this food come so fast in 30 minutes, right? And you are curious, you decide to go to the kitchen. If you go to that kitchen, you realize that there's always a head chef, right? And you realize so many people are doing different things, right? So what does a head chef do basically is he basically orchestrates and help organize these guys and tell them, oh, okay, this person, this is what you do, this is what you're cooking. You handle this, you handle this. He's like the orchestrator in an orchestra musical events, right? So as a design manager, as a chef, right, he's the one developing those quality meals. He's not exactly cooking them, But that chef in that restaurant is the one developing those meals in the sense where he's enabling development, right, for it to be created. He's the one enabling those guys to function and to cook properly, right? He's like the spine, right, behind the restaurants. So if you take that analogy, right, and bring it into design, right, and organizations, you realize that a design manager is someone who helps manage the product design team, who sets objectives, determines guidelines, understands the needs of projects, right, and then it helps translate that into processes and to enable these designers design appropriately, right? So let me put it into more context, right, and give an example. So in my team, me being a design manager, what I do basically, like one of my responsibilities is to make sure every designer that's designing on the project is doing their best, right, and is pushing out quality, right? So what that also means is I have to pick the right designer for a particular project, right? So I have to think through, okay, who is the best person that's going to handle this project when the project comes? And who is the best person that's going to, deliver this on time, right? Depending on the time, depending on the urgency of the project, depending on the type of project, and depending on the type of client, right, that has that project. So as a design manager thinks through those things and is like, okay, so out of all the designers on this team, I feel this person is going to be good for this project. And then he assigns that designer to that project, right? So that's like what I mean by developing. So in a way, the design manager is helping shape that project by bringing the right person to that project, by looking at that project and digesting what does this project needs, right? What type of designs does this project need, right? And how can I enable that design be done? So then it pushes the designer to that project, and the designer then works on it. Then the design manager looks at that project as it's being done, checks if the design quality are good, makes reviews when needed, supports the designer, right, when the designer is having issues or when the designer is experiencing problems. That basically, right, in a nutshell, is what a design manager do, and that's what I do in my company, right? But remember, that's just part of my responsibilities, right? So I hope this explains what design manager is and what design management does, right? So, all right, so let's keep moving. So now, what is the importance of a design manager to a company, right? So let's walk through this together, right? So a design manager basically, or rather design management, right, allows companies to better control their design processes, right? But why does a company need that, right? So the reason a company will need that is right now in the current state of the market, especially in Nigerian companies, you rarely ever see anybody being called a design manager, right? I could bet I am the first, right now, the only person with the title design manager, right? Most people you see is design lead or a senior designer, or a product manager and a designer, right? Or someone who does product management and then he designs. Well, most companies don't realize the essence of this and the importance, right? So that's why I want to shed light on why this is important, right? And then again, I feel I should mention something before I talk about the importance of it. So one thing you need to understand about design management is there's really no definition of design management as we speak, right? Because design management is a complex field, right? When I say complex, not to make you get scared, right? But as designers, we know there's design thinking processes to help you design. We know that there are different type of processes. There's even the double diamond process, right? To help you shape how you design, to help you, find a problem, find a solution to it, uncover a solution, walk through it, and then design, make amazing designs, right? So it's kind of like, in a way, linear but non-linear as well, right? But it is like there are enough resources to help you shape your process as a designer. But when it comes to design management, right, there's really no resources as much as you would like to help shape you being a design manager, right? Most times you learn on the job, right? So there's not really one single place to say, oh, this is it, this is what design management is, this is where I can go and learn design management, right? Or this is what a design manager does, right? Your responsibilities as a design manager, right, is totally it changes based on the type of company you work for. So we have the Um, we have the small organizations, the large organizations, right? The mid-sized companies, right? What I mean by that, like, from one person in the company to 10 to 20 to 30, then maybe from 30 to 50, then from 50 to like 100, right? Different sizes, right? And as this company or this size is increases, you realize that they're like the design team is increasing, right? But you rarely ever find that in a company, in most companies in Nigeria, right? Why? Because they don't really understand the importance, right? And that's because, in a way, they don't really understand how well to define the roles of a design manager, right? But like I mentioned, the design manager role is like it varies across companies. So in your company might want you to do something. Like, your company might be focused more on growing, right? So your design manager, you being a design manager, then means you have to focus on hiring, right? You have to think of how to scale the team, right? What are the onboarding processes? Like, okay, so when a designer comes in, I'm sure many of you have experienced it, right? Like when you get hired in a company, for instance, in most cases, there is really it takes a lot of time for you to get to understand everything the company is doing or how they design, right? In most cases, they don't even have a process. They're just like, we just design, right? Once you get work, you go and work on it, you design, come back and they review it. If it's good, they push it out. That's how most companies work in Nigeria, right? But in most cases, that shouldn't be, right? Like when a new designer comes into a company, either as an intern or as a senior designer or as a junior designer, you want a situation where when you come in, somebody is talking to you, right? You are jumping on the first call and they're introducing you to the team, introducing you to like what are the things they do, right? The type of meetings they have, how many meetings they have in a week or in a month, um, what are their rules, or if they have a design Bible that they could read, what are their what are like their shortcuts or the design systems they use, different things, right? That's go with onboarding, and then probably having somebody that is like a onboarding body. What I mean by that is somebody who helps guide you when you just come into a new company, someone who's there for you, who's like, oh, this is the person I can meet and talk to when I experience problems or when I don't understand something, right? If you think about those things, you realize that, oh, that is the thing you're not focused on as a design manager, right? Because your company needs that at that moment. So you think of how to improve that. But then in sometimes that might not be what you focus on, right? In some companies, you might be focused on growing the team in terms of growing the quality of the team, right? Like, how can I help these designers design better? How can I help them be better? How can I help improve their skills? How can I help improve, the output of their work, the output of the designs, right? The designs that they make, the outcomes. How do I help make sure that, okay, these designs that these designers have done, right, is top-notch quality with the development team, right? Development team are bringing out top-notch quality of these designs, giving it pixel perfect. If you realize, I just mentioned different things, and that's how a responsibility change for a design manager, right? So there is no one size fits all that says this is everything to do like a designer. We know a designer does certain things like research, wireframing, site mapping, all those different things we do them. But there is nothing like that when it comes to design management, right? You are almost everywhere, right? That's what being a design manager is. So I needed to touch on that so that you could understand why most companies do not exactly know how to bring in a design manager into their company, right? Because they feel it's not necessary. They feel like the design team is fine. They are doing design, right? Once they give them work, once a project manager gives them, a PRD document, like, oh, here's are the things you need to work on. And the designer just goes, takes that and they design, right? So they feel like having a lead designer is fine. And that's enough. In most cases, yes, it is, it's fine, right? Because the lead designer is there to help them, shape up how the team works, lead the design team, share tasks on what they should work on, right? And review their work. But a lead designer is also a designer, somebody who's actually designing. So how can you balance designing and having to lead a large team, right? So in most cases, you then, start losing track of the design work you're supposed to be doing, right? That is what, a design manager then comes in and be like, oh, you're a lead designer, let me help you manage your team, right? You can't be focusing on design and management at the same time. That is a different process job role. So a design manager comes in and then helps the team, expands the team, helps manage the team, right? So Most companies do not realize that, right? And that's the reason why you really have design managers in Nigerian companies. And so now let's go back to why this is important for a Nigerian company. So design management allows companies to control their processes better, right? I mentioned that, and then it helps them enhance their internal business processes, right? Like it enables them to cut waste and inefficiency in their process, right? So in a way where it helps them reduce cost. Let me explain that, right? For people who might not understand what I just said, is um, a lot of times when a company is like, oh, let's design this, let's build this, you realize that the designer might waste time designing something, right? Or might spend so much time designing it, coming up with ideas or coming up with ways to design a complex problem, right? Like if they tell you go and build something on Web3, most people don't even understand what Web3 is, and they might waste time spending weeks when it's supposed to have done something, right? But imagine you had a design manager who helps you structure your research process, tells you, okay, this is the right way to research, right? This is the type of research you can do for certain, product, right? Once you're done, do this, do this, do this, do this, and do this, right? Imagine someone is helping, guiding you. Think of it like a mentor guides you, right? Imagine you have a design manager that does that for you, and then you realize that in no time, you are, shipping out designs very fast, right? Because it's like you have a little white angel at your back directing you, right? So a design manager in a way helps companies, structure good processes that reduce costs, reduce development costs. Because why? A design manager will help you make sure your designs are properly handed off to a developer, right? Those type of things. So that's what I mean by internal business processes, right? In a way, those things help translate into business goals, and a design manager helps make sure the designs are matching business, goals, business visions. So now, another thing is their learning curve and growth curve, right? So design management, right, helps create good design knowledge in a company, right? One of that works as a design manager is to make sure that everybody knows what UX is, why design is important to the company, right? What designers do, how they do it, right? So it's like a design manager helps make sure, right, that there's constant learning in the design scene and even in other departments in the company, right? So engineering must understand how design works. Not like, oh, they need to know how to move Figma boards or the rest. No, like they just need to understand the concept of it, right? So design manager helps educate people. He helps make sure that constant learning is ongoing in the entire company, especially the design team, right? You have all the resources you need, all the design courses, anything you need to help improve you as a designer. That's what the design manager does. And in a way, it helps make the company's design team better, right? So good design brings good money, right? Good design helps solve complex problems. It helps solve business problems. It helps solve user needs. Because if your users are happy, right, your company is going to definitely be happy because happy users make payments for things, right? And in turn, companies need money, right? So that's the reason why they do what they do, right? So good design in turn brings good returns and good profits. A design manager can help make sure that happens. Like it's their job role to make sure that happens. So that's why it's important to companies. Another thing is to rush through this is finance. Like I mentioned, it increases sales, it reduces costs, right? And it's very good for companies. It helps create customer and brand relationships because once users trust your product, they want to talk more about your product, right? They want to share your product to people, right? Just having 3, 4, 5, 6 designers designing by themselves alone can be a recipe for chaos if you don't have someone to manage or lead them, right? If you don't have someone to make sure that the team is up, like is functioning appropriately and they're doing things right, right? Doing the right things, it's going to be a recipe for chaos because you might today like have a product that doesn't actually scale through or meet the business goals, or you as a company holder might not even realize, right? And you just like, yes, I like this design, but if a design manager is available, he might be able to explicitly explain that, okay, this doesn't match company goals. Let's change them. Let's do something better, right? A design manager does that for you. And that's why it's important for companies. And that's why it's important for also designers to know the importance of this. Because if you're in a team where you are sick, like you are 4, 5, 6 and above, right? It would be good to start, talking to your stakeholders, getting to talk to them, right? Nudging them in the right direction of why they need a design manager. in that company, right? Explaining to them that, oh, maybe you have the qualities to be a design manager in that company, right? Because all these things, when you point out these importances to them, it can help nudge them to realize the need for it and make them higher. So yeah, that's the importance of being a design manager, or the importance of why design management is needed in the company. I hope you guys are still following though. Just
Yes,
say hi, or
yes,
to
we
let me
are.
know you guys are following.
Yes, we
Awesome,
are.
We are
awesome.
following no.
No vex, so I just got asked. I mean, making up be said, I don't listen now. All right. So yeah, why a product designer needs a manager. So why do you need a manager, right? Why do you need a design manager, right? Um, Everybody always runs to mentors outside of their companies, right? Because of the lack of design managers in companies, right? In my company, I do something called one-on-ones, right, regularly, right? But for the past 2 months, I've not been able to do that because of the pressure on work on me. So I put that on the pause, but definitely going to resume that again, right? But the essence of what one-on-one is to help me put myself in a position where I can mentor these guys, right, to becoming the best they can be, right? You want to set up a recipe for success, right? You don't want a situation where you have a designer on the team that's not motivated to work, or you have a product designer on the team that's like tired and wants to leave, or because nobody is listening to their complaints, or you have a designer on the team who wants to learn something who doesn't know how to talk to the management to get in that course, right? And then the designer is just quiet and it's not learning or improving, right? And that in turn brings bad results for companies. And at the end of the day, the designer gets fired. Or if the company had hired a design manager, right? This would help improve those type of things, those situations, and turn those situations, for good. So why do you need a design manager, right? As a product designer. And I'm hoping by the end of this, you'll be able to speak up for yourself, right, in the company. Try and talk to somebody, right? Talk to your direct line manager, maybe a product manager or the head of design, and see how you could be able to bring in a design manager into the company, right? So how does this affect you? One, it empowers you. A design manager is there to help you succeed. Like 100% of the time, that is what I do, right? Like I'm always there to make sure I help my team members, right, succeed, to make sure that they have everything they need in terms of every set of information they need to succeed. If they are going into a new project and you're making sure that the client has filled every form of questionnaires about the project that's possible. We even have like complete user stories for that project, right? In the sense of this is what the project needs to be done. Like this is what the project needs. These are the features you need. This is everything you need, right, to succeed. So take all of this, right? These are the questions of ask the clients for you. This is everything you need to succeed. Take this and go design, right? The design manager is there to help guide you. So to make sure that you don't set yourself up for failure, right? And it's meant to cover your ass all the time, right? So imagine you had someone like that on your team doing that for you, right? I'm sure most times we have all had experiences where we don't even know what to do. We don't know how to approach a project. We don't know how to navigate a project. Maybe the project is not something we've done before, right? A design manager is meant to help guide you through that process. It's meant to be like your right-hand man in helping you navigate, to help you say, okay, this is what you should do. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, right? For free. Like imagine having somebody like that for free in a company or more. Everybody will set up for success, right? You really see people like you really see people losing their jobs, right? So yeah, moving on. It helps. A design manager helps in challenges. Right? There are so many challenges you will face, right, as a designer. You're in projects, maybe a particular teammate. The teammate is refusing to listen to you, or someone refusing to follow design principles, or is designing shit, right? Or maybe you need to develop a certain skill, right? And you're not being given that room or that time to develop it, right? That's a challenge, right? Or maybe you are experiencing a situation where people are not listening to you, or you don't know how to talk in a company meeting call, and you would love to be participating, right? Or because you feel shy, or you're having imposter syndrome, right? All of these are challenges, right? So a design manager will help you scale through those challenges. Sorry. So yeah, a design manager will help unblock you and help you scale through those challenges. Then another thing is constructive feedback, right? A design manager is meant to like I mentioned, be your right hand body. It's meant to be there for you to make sure you're always pushing out quality. A lot of times, even when I was designing every day, Um, there were times where I designed, I was just like, come on, I don't know if this makes sense. So I would then end up going to talk to my friends, right? Because I didn't have any design manager at work then. So I'll go talk to my friends. I'll be like, how do you see this thing, right? This is what they asked me to do, right? This is the brief, basically summary. And be like, what do you think? Do you think this solves the problem? What do you think about the quality of this design, right? I think of my user flows. Like I'm genuinely asking because I need to improve, right? Because I'm someone who never had a mentor. I never had a design mentor, growing as a designer, right? Um, I tried having a mentor once. It didn't just work for me, right? Because the designer, he was a white guy, and well, it was an experience I don't want to talk about. So, moving on. Imagine having someone like that, a design manager on your team, who is always available to like help review your work, help make sure that you are gaining the right insights into the work you do, helping make sure you're improving, right? Giving you quality feedback, not bad feedback, not this design and this color is not good, right? But explicitly giving you quality feedback. If you have someone like that, it helps you as a designer gain reputation in your company, because every time you do that before you share your designs out to your stakeholders, your design manager has gone through it and knows that this is quality work, and you share it out to your stakeholders. Your stakeholders come back with good results and good feedback and like, oh, this is mad ass stuff. Like you did absolutely amazing, right? And this is good. It boosts your confidence, right? And it helps these people like see you as someone who's quality and a senior level, and it helps you gain promotion, right? Over a long run. These are the things a design manager does for you, right? And this is why you need one as a as a product designer. So hopefully one day you guys will be able to go back to your respective companies, your respective teams, right? Talk to your direct line managers, talk to your the person who hired you, basically the co-founders. Make a case for why a design manager should be in your company, right? Do this if you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 designers in the company and it's getting a bit hard to manage, right? So yeah, that's why you need a product. That's why you need a manager. So let's move forward. So what type of work does a PM do, right? So basically, in a nutshell, what these things I'm saying, right? All the things a design manager does, right? But like I mentioned earlier, the complexity around design management makes it a bit hard to explicitly tell you what a design manager do, right? They are a bit everywhere. They do everything to help scale the company, right? In terms of anything design related, right? So I've been able to, through my process of research and working, right? These are 3 core things, right? That explicitly explains, right, what a design manager does in terms of category. So 3 core things are basically leading design as a strategist, being an operator, and then growing the team, right? So leading design as a strategist in a nutshell means your main priority, right, as a design manager is to understand customer problems, right, in terms of end-to-end and researching new opportunities, right, that enables your designers, that enables the team to create inspiring work, right, and you also create an inspiring design vision, right, and in a nutshell, that helps you to meet business goals, right. So to say that again, right, as a strategist, a design manager is meant to help everyone in the company and in himself make sure that they understand the company goals, right? Customer problems, end to end, make sure they understand the customer problems from the moment that this is what we are solving, right, in this company. This is our goals for this company, right? These are the customer problems. Understand that end to end, right? Understand how to solve for that. Understand how to come up with new research opportunities, right? Come up with new things that could help improve that, right? And then use that to create a very good, inspiring vision for your design team, right? And that would enable them to meet business goals, right? So, for instance, a very simple example is as a company, we want to this is an accounting solution, right? As a company, for instance, the company is building an accounting solution. That's what they do. That's their startup. And you understand the problems people are facing is that they don't customers. The problem the company is facing with customers is that customers do not really understand enough about accounting, right? Business owners who are the main targets of the company, those customer targets, right? The business owners, they don't really understand how to do accounting properly. right? They are currently doing accounting on books and the rest. So the company is facing a problem in terms of adoption. How do we get these guys to come on board? How do we get them to find our platform? How do we get them to get self-educated on the platform? How do we get them to impute their accounting records on the platform and then subscribe, right? So to you as a normal designer, you might think that, oh, you are just, all you need to do is just, you know, design whatever they tell you to do, right? Or just design screens and ship them off, right? The project manager will tell you these are the things you need to do, right? And then you go and do your research. You research other competitors and design. But you never really understand what exactly the company is facing, right? That's the problem that they're facing: adoption, retention, and self-educating, right? These are the problems that are facing the users. But as a design manager sits with the management board, sits with the company's head, find out the problems that they're facing, right? Take that problem, come back to the team and be like, okay, hey guys, here's our vision for the next 6 months, right? We are going to, our vision is to design a product, right, that self-educates people, right, in terms of accounting, right? A product that is self-reflective in the sense where it helps them see into their business and the importance of what they do and makes them feel good, right? That is me trying to think of strategy and vision, right? That we should focus on, right? And help make sure that these guys are always coming back as paying users. So we have to make sure we create an experience that helps users constantly come back to the platform, right? And to create an experience that helps these people want to talk about the platform and recommend it to other people, right? That's me explicitly explaining what a strategy and vision is I have set for the team. So it's now make sure that, okay, how we get there. We're doing research, right? We're improving our skills, thinking of new experiences, right? Laying out different things we could do to expand our thinking, product thinking, and things to do to help us achieve that goal. Because the moment we do that, right, the moment we help create a product that does that, right, when the product gets shipped out, indirectly is going to be helping solving the company goals, right? That is how you merge all of that, right? So that's what I mean by being a strategist. Then another thing is being an operator, right? A design manager is responsible for team running effectively, right? Hiring, making sure that the team is effectively doing things right? Nobody is going to do quantitative and qualitative research when they are supposed to do a very lean research for this, right? Because of the time frame, right? There's a short time frame to design something, and a designer is going to do surveys, is going to do online surveys and different things. It's like it doesn't make sense to do some certain things when you know that, okay, due to the time frame of a particular project, a designer needs to, be quick about it, right? A design manager is to make sure that the designer is doing things appropriately. And when the designer is going off track, the design manager brings them back so they don't get fired easily. Like honestly, man. So a design manager is meant to make sure they are overseeing, like, the projects, the designers, right, and the work they do to make sure that, okay, these guys are implementing good, effective processes, right? It's not just to implement all the design processes in a company. No, it's know when to implement the right process for that company, right? It's knowing to take all that design process, all the design thinking processes, all the processes in the world, and see how you could pick the right one that fits that team, right? How do you do that, right? You do that by making sure you assess the team skills, the company's budgets, right? The company's ability to hire and retain, right? You think of the problems the company is facing, right? Think of all these things, right? And use that to help pick out the best processes that helps get designs out in time and helps get designs in front of users in time, right? And making sure that you're also keeping quality in the process, right? Those type of things, and making sure you're also hiring the right designers, making sure you are putting the company in a position where other designers want to be involved in the company. The moment a design team in any company is at its best is when other people outside the company aims and work so hard to want to be in that team, right? That is when you know you have reached success as a design manager, because it means your designers are happy. They are preaching about your company and they are making other people feel jealous and want to come into that company and experience what they are experiencing. That's the reason why you have so many fan companies out there that everybody wants to be part of fan, because the people in there are preaching about fan companies, right? And they're like, oh, we're ending well. The team is amazing. We're doing this. We're solving problems. We're changing this. Everybody wants to be part of fan. Why? Because nobody talks about the fact that the design managers are almost 50%, 60% the reason why these guys are doing that because the managers are doing a great job, right? So yeah. Another thing that we do as a design manager that I know I do is growing. When I say growing, I mean like a design manager is responsible for providing growth, providing and developing like opportunities for the members in the sense where you are not growing the company by hiring people, no, but I mean like growing the company in terms of quality, in terms of making sure that a designer who came into the company as a UI designer is living as a UI expert, right? Making sure someone who came into the team as a UI UX designer, but he has 60% research and 40% UI skills. You make sure the guy lives with 100% research and 70% UI skills, meaning that the guy has like doubled up in terms of quality by the time he's leaving. Making sure that you are caring about their career path, right? Making sure you're caring about how they can grow, how they can improve themselves, right? That is what the design manager does, right? You can do that by one-on-ones, like having meetings with them, talking with them, checking up on them, like, oh, how's your love life going, right? What do you do outside of work, right? Oh, so what are you focusing on right now? Are you learning anything new? Right? What do you feel your skills are like? Help them assess their skills, assess their weakness, their strengths, help them create a career path for them, right? Like, okay, these are the things you should focus on right now in the next few months. These are the next things to focus on in the next few months, right? Those are the type of things you do, right? You can host workshops, right? Teach them how to do certain things, host classes, host talk shows with them, right? Create opportunities for them to bond with other team members, make them come alive and be the best versions of themselves. That is what design managers do. So yeah. So moving forward, what are the myths about being a product designer? Um, Give me a moment, please. I just realized my laptop is on charge and it might go up anytime soon. So let me just quickly plug it up. All right, I'm back. Mm,
All right. So while our speaker is trying to get back, I believe you can just give me an emoji of how you're feeling about today's session. Just give us emojis alone, please. No text. But just give us emojis and let's just have a good time. So my one emoji is this one. Okay, great. Someone. Okay, just to be sure that we're following. Okay. All right, all right. He was asking, what's up? What is your love life like? How's it going? And then so
When I had that, and I just laughed. I said, more.
actually, I've actually spoken to my chief follow-up officer about. So she does have one-on-ones with us, my chief follow-up officer. And then there are times that we talk about that, and she's somebody that has like a lot of experience doing that line, managing this like
Exactly. But you know, some people are not comfortable sharing that.
Yeah. I mean, C finish is you need to avoid C
Exactly,
finish in
exactly. That's why
Nigeria.
some people actually avoid that conversation.
It's very important. I mean,
But
you can't
anyway, I
just
think I usually hacks anyways, but not too deep. So, but
not.
depending on the person's response, if the person response require me to go deep, then I will go deep. If not, we just keep it.
Yeah.
Hi. What are you guys
All right.
talking about?
You're
Yeah.
talking about you asking about relationship. Like, what's your asking your asking your
Oh,
designer what's up?
so what did you guys say about it?
No, I was. She was trying to say that she asks sometimes, but just doesn't get too deep. And for me, my
Yeah.
chief product officer, we do have that kind of conversation, but it's because we have a very good relationship, anyways. So
Mm,
people can use things against you one day because there are times I've
yeah.
designed. I'm feeling angry because my babe just annoys me, like, and then during the meeting I'm just very cold. I'm just so
I can sure. Not everybody's actually cool with sharing that, right? But
yeah.
my experience so far, it's amazing that I have really cool members, and it'd be amazing information they give me. Right? I'm just like, wow, I can't believe you share that information, right? Like very deep personal information. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a good thing to be in a relationship with these guys because you need to be able to create harmony, right, with your team. Because happy designers will definitely lead to happy designs, quality designs. Well, so
Definitely.
good. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, so you can go on, chief.
All right, boss. All right. Share my screen now. So sorry for the break in transmission, guys. I know charge my laptop. I was taking my MacBook with
Design
surviving.
managers will they
Is
will
that?
definitely understand. I said design managers will understand when they are designers tell you that there's no light or something, right?
Oh no, for real. We understand, we understand. Only because the problem when you tell me for 1 week, no light, how about struggle for light now? Like do something. Or you come to my place, I'll definitely pay for your ticket to come to my country or my house and stay with me and work. Ah, but yeah, I definitely understand for sure. I give my designers time off, like all the time, like to make sure they cool off, to make sure they get their head in the right place. Like yeah, like almost every time. And that's against like company rules. Um or even my company is so flexible that when I explain why I'm giving time off to a designer, the company is like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Go ahead, right? I'm like, okay, thank you, right? But the penalty for giving time off to designers, like there's a rule for that actually. You have to make sure you're not breaking company rules exactly, right? But there's a fine line, like a loophole in it. That's what I mean by that. So the company then says yes to it, and the designers go off. So yeah, I think that's also one of the reasons designers like the company. Uh, yeah. Oh, I'm just rambling, guys. Um, so yeah, myths about product design management. Yeah, so one of the myths is becoming a design manager is a no point of return. I keep hearing this thing a lot, right? People are like, once you become a design manager, there is no going back, right? Like, um, there's no designing anymore. There's no climbing back down to being a designer, like, and they miss the craft, like they don't know what to do. And once they're becoming design manager, like, that's all they can be. I'm like, no, that's a lie, right? You can always go back to becoming a normal product designer, right? In any company, right? So what that means is today I can wake up and be like, you know what? I think I would take a pause being a design manager. I want to go back, to design pixels, right? For my teammates. I want to go back to talking to clients and designing with clients. So yeah, there is nothing like being a design manager is a point of no return, right? Another stuff is design management is only for supporting people, and that's a lie, right? Supporting people is like 10% of the job, right? There's other things like administration. There's other things like even finance, right? Operational needs and the rest, right? So it is not just about supporting people. It's not just about being someone mentoring and someone's mentor company or coaching people or having one-on-ones, right? It's not just about making sure you help them to have them solve their problems. It's actually way more than that. It's also like making sure that business goals are being met, right? Talking with clients and also stakeholders management are involved in this. Talking with other departments, sitting with engineers, right? Most of the times I am sitting with operation people in the company, right? thinking about ways to improve processes and collaboration between designers and engineers, between designers and marketing, between designers and project managers, between designers and QA guys. There is so much involved to product design management than supporting people. Then another myth is you need to become a design manager to move up in your career. That is a blunt outline, right? You don't need to go on the path of management to be able to scale up or increase in your career path. There are other things. There is a different path you can take, right? Which is the IC part, the individual contributor part, right? Which is and those parts have levels to it, right? There is still the principal designer, there's a staff designer, there is senior designer, right? So, and those guys have the same and almost the same responsibilities with a design manager, right? They are inclusive, honestly. But, yeah, they still have their differences, but almost the same level of influence in any company. So another one is design manager are the best designers on the team. That's a lie. I am definitely not the best designer on my team, right? I'm definitely not even the best designer on this call, right? But to start assessing people's skills. So you don't need to be the best designer, all right, to become a design manager. You don't need to climb up the career path of so everybody says there's an industry standard. Yes, there's an industry standard, right? But the industry standard is set by people who it's said by basically foreign companies. People are looking up to foreign companies for that, right? Like, oh, you must become a amazing designer, like you must master the craft before you become a design manager. Like all these top guys are no, that's not the case, right? That is honestly not the case anymore. You can be someone who is 3 years, 4 years as a designer, right? And the next thing you know, you're a design manager in the company. You can even be 2 years, and the next thing you know, you're a design manager in the company if you have the right qualities, right? Designing has like moving pixels has almost zero to nothing to do with the fact that you have qualities of being a design manager, and that can enable you becoming a design manager, right? So it's not about being the best designer on the team, right? It's about enabling people, right, to design better, enable people to like be successful and do that work, that quality work you want them to do. It's about knowing what is the difference between quality and not quality designs, right? That's what it means to be a design manager, to enable people, you know, and ride on other people's success. When I say ride on other people's success, I don't mean take their glory, but to enable them be successful. That's what it means being a design manager. Then design managers don't care about design anymore. That's a blunt lie, right? Being a design manager, yes, you might not be designing as much as you like, but that doesn't mean I don't care about design. I still have to read, I still have to study, I still have to take courses about design, I still have to know what is up with the trends about design. I still need to practice, right? I still need to keep my design skills sharp so that when I'm trying to hold a class with my guys, or when I'm trying to teach something, or when I'm trying to critique somebody's work, I know the best things to use to critique. I know the best design principles to critique with. I know the best heuristics to use to critique with, right? So I don't end up being outdated, right? So I actually care about design. Every product design manager out there cares about design, right? So yeah, these are the myths about product design management that are common that I felt is good to be addressed. So now, how do you become a product design manager? So when people ask me this, I always try to ask them a question, right? Is design management right for you? Do you feel it is right for you? Why do you want to become a design manager? Right? It's not about wanting to become one, but knowing if you actually have the right skills for it and knowing what you want, right, as a person, right? What qualities do you have, right, that can enable you become a design manager? You need to start asking questions like, what areas of design management do I care about the most? Like, what gives me the most energy, right? Do I care about solving hiring problems? Do I care about like having a say about the work that's being done in the team? Do I care about talking to the stakeholders more and seeing how I can help them get their company's goals to the top, right? Do I care about do I enjoy or care about like clients and managing clients and managing projects and design projects and making sure that I'm also talking with the developers and managing all of that process. What parts of design management exactly are you like really intrigued about, right? Are you just intrigued about the fact that, oh, I know that designing? If that's the case, you shouldn't become a design manager, right? What part of your work makes you happiest? What parts do you care about less, right? What parts of your current design process makes you happy, right? Are you the person who enjoys more about researching, right? Finding problems and giving ideas or solutions to these problems, right? Or are you someone who cares more about the design and making sure that pixel perfect, subtle? What part of the process makes you happy, or what part of the current work makes you happy? If you currently are working as someone who have 2 to 3 other designers on the team, do you enjoy when they come to you for help? Right? Do you enjoy talking to them and checking up on them and how they're doing and if they're having any problems? Do you currently do that? Right? If you do you enjoy it? Right? Do you hate it? Right? These are questions to ask yourself. Then who are your mentors and what can you learn from them? Do you currently have mentors you can learn from? Right? You have design leaders you look up to. What can you learn from them? What qualities do they have that you love so much? Right? If you have a design manager in your team currently, talk to them and find out what about their work that they enjoy that you feel you also enjoy, right? Find out what they do on a day-to-day basis. See if you enjoy their work, right? Try to shadow them, see if you can be of help to them, and see how that impacts your current work and if you enjoy it, right? Are you someone who also enjoys being in meetings most of the time? It's like talking and brainstorming and solving problems and being in front of everybody's faces. Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy communicating as much, or are you shy? Right? Are you someone who just wants to be in the background? These are questions to ask yourself. Do you like to sell yourself? Right? Then how involved do you want to be in the design work? Right? Is it okay if designing is not your primary focus? Right? Are you more on someone who likes to coordinate things? Like, you like running workshops, right? And guiding people on how to do things more than even designing, right? Ask those questions. Would you miss it if you stop, right? Do you miss design if you go 2, 3 weeks without design, or a month or 2 months without actually moving any pixel on the screen? Ask yourself these questions. So yeah, then one thing you should also look to, right, is organization growth. If you really want to be a design manager, or even if you don't want to be a design manager, you should think about organization growth, right? I mentioned something about a myth that says, what is it? Yeah, I mentioned a myth that talks about you need to become a design manager to move up in career, right? That's a lie. You don't need to become a design manager to increase and move up in career, to level up in career, right? So think about organization growth, right? Because they are always divided in 2 parts: the individual contributor and the design and the management side of things. So for individual contributor, right? Um, uh, Shout out to Shine One, right? Because I took some inputs from inside and I knew I needed to touch on that, right? On a past talk he did. So if you don't know Shine One, you should definitely check him out. So yeah, individual contributor part, right? The individual contributor part basically is if you want to master this design thing, you want to enjoy this design thing, you want to be a badass, like that thing people say on Twitter where you're like, it is on a good morning designers or something, cheers another day to be a design, cheers another day to what class or so. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, guys. Having a sister is, I'm sorry, I'm distracted.
Okay. So for designers, another day to be world class. I know some people will tweet about it tomorrow. Another week to be world class. All right. So yeah, I think for me,
Please,
I
I
like
have a question.
there'll
Sorry,
be
sorry for
there'll be time for
interrupting.
questions.
No, it's not
See,
about this session though. It's about the last session. I didn't get the recording. I've been refreshing my email, but I didn't see anything. The one we did on portfolio last week.
okay. We will just send us a DM. We will
Yeah.
definitely share it to you.
All right,
Right.
thank you so much.
And send me a
So
DM.
sorry about that, guys.
I think I have a
Family
question.
instructions. I'm almost done, please. Can I finish?
Yeah, sure. You can finish, Collins.
All
Please
right.
go on.
Thank you. So sorry about distraction. So yeah, talking about individual contributor, right? So if you want to master your craft, you want to be someone who is seen as a guru, right? This thing where everybody Twitter is like, oh, another day to be world class. If you actually want to be world class, right? this is the part you should follow. Don't even think about management, right? Follow this part because this is where you get to the point of being principal designer, staff designer, right? And you are recognized as a design leader in the industry, right? Someone who sets trends. If that's the type of person you want to be, right? Ship amazing products. Then yeah, this is the part, right? Because um, you can practice leadership, right? In as an individual contributor. And what I mean by that is you as a product designer currently, right? The fact that your title is junior designer, product designer, senior designer, that is what who the individual contributor is. Someone who focuses on designing and contributing to the designs in a company, right? Or in any organization, that is who an individual contributor is. So you can also be a leader and still manage things because once you become a lead designer, right? Your role or a senior designer, your role is no longer just designing, right? You have to think about the people that are under you, the people you are leading, right? You have to also manage them. You have to also inspire them. You have to also consult them, right? You have to also teach them how to do some certain things, right? That is leadership, right? And so, yeah, you can also drive change through that process. Then for the management side of things, like if you want to run things, if you want to lead products, if you want to manage people, if you want to do more than just design, right? If you want to be part of the people, helping making a say in the company, right? And being more influential in an organization, right? And sure, management is good for you, right? This is where you are involved in hiring, involved in, managing a team and making sure that that team is set up for success, right? So, yeah, you then realize that you are no longer in a position where, for individual contributor, right? If you do great designs, the success and everything goes to you. People will award you for doing those great designs, right? You control your success. But as a manager, you don't exactly control your success as easy as you like because now your success depends on other people's success, right? If your design team is not successful and they are not meeting the design and vision goals for a period of time, right? At the end of the day, that outcome will tell if they are successful or not. If they're not meeting it, right, that's failing, right? Which means you are not being a good design manager, right? But if they are successful, then you are successful, right? And you get your awards and your promotion and whatnot, right? So it's like giving somebody it's like putting your future or something, right, in people's hands and helping them, do work and making sure that okay, they are successful because if they're not successful, you can get fired. Right? That's what the man like one of the scary parts of being a manager, right? But if you are ready to miss design in the sense of moving pixels, in the sense where you might spend a month not doing anything with pixels, right? If you are fine with that, and if you are fine with getting like managing yourself and getting people to do what you want, and if you feel you want to lead influence, then sure, management is good for you. So here is how it looks like side by side, right? So this is junior designer, intermediate designer, senior designer. Then you can decide maybe you want to branch out to a senior manager, a design manager role. Even being a design manager, right? You still have to be there are levels to it, like the senior design manager role, director of design manager, there's even head of design, right? Then if you decide you don't want to be a design manager, you want to keep being an individual contributor, you can become a design lead, you can become a principal designer, you can become a staff designer, right? So this is how it looks like, right? So the manager side is at the top, the individual contributor side is at the bottom, right? So this is how it always looks like. So yeah, things you can do, right, to be better, to grow in either part you decide you want to take. You decide to be an individual contributor or you want to grow into becoming a design manager. Things you need to do are figure out what part you want to explore. Right? Agree with yourself, talk to yourself, and decide on what you want to do. Decide on what part of career you want to focus on, right? Because the moment you agree with yourself, right, you're able to create focus, right? And nothing shakes you, no peer pressure or anything shakes you. It's not the success of somebody who just bought a car, right, as a design manager that will shake you and make you say, I need to do this design management thing. No, right? Focus on yourself and decide on the career path. So you're not switching every moment. Then network with people, right? Network with your company, colleagues. And network with your professional friends, right? Make good and quality connections with people, right? Because this would help you start creating influence, right? Help you communicate to more people, right? Which helps build your communication skills. Get out of that tell me what to do in that sense where you are always requiring somebody to give you work, or if they don't give you work, you don't do anything. Right? Or oh, okay, you're giving me work, what should I do? Right? Stop that, right? And start thinking of how you want to be a self-starter, right? You want to be proactive, you want to start doing things, you want to start getting things done, even when you don't have anything to do, right? You want to be able to take initiative, right? Get out of that phase of tell me what to do, because you need to grow, and these are the things that will help people. Then be open to feedback, right? Always let go of your designs, in the sense, do not be attached to these designs, right? Because the moment you start being attached to this amazing design, the moment you start losing as a designer, right? And the moment you start messing up your chances of success. Because not every design you feel are good, right, is right for the users or right for your organization, right? So you need to realize that being a designer also means keeping up control, right? Because you're not the only person in the company that makes design decisions. So you need to realize these things and allow yourself room to create them, to collect constructive feedback, right? So accept feedback, digest feedback, right? And translate that into work, right? And knowing the right type of feedback to accept and what not. Then you need to work on your skills, work on yourself, work on your growth areas, right? Try to understand what your strengths and weaknesses are, right? And see how you can grow, right? And see what you need to improve on, right? Then ask questions all the time, right? Don't be the type of person who is in the design team and you are always silent. You are not curious about anything, right? It gives up a very sad impression that you are someone who doesn't really you don't go the extra mile, right? When it comes to design, you are someone who just you don't care. You just want to get work done. That's fine by you. Anything they tell you to do, right? You're someone who's not challenging, right? You're someone who is not curious about learning new things. So you always want to give the right impression, right? You always need to be someone who is ready to jump on something if opportunity is available. Like create room for opportunity for yourself, right? So you realize that okay, someone is asking, maybe in your organization they need someone to write a blog, write an article for a blog, right? And they came to your design team to ask you guys to do something. Do not wait for the design manager or your head of design or somebody to point to you. Oh, you do it, right? You can be the self-starter and be like, oh yeah, I would like to, right? Those things give you opportunity to grow, right? They give you opportunity to put yourself in a situation where you start taking charge of things and you put yourself in the spotlight. You need to put yourself in the spotlight, right? These are the little things that make people, treasure the fact that you're in the company, right? Because you're always, available. But then again, I don't mean every opportunity that comes in or every need you jump on them. Just be picky about the right needs to jump on, right? Pick things that would also be beneficial to you, and pick things when you know you have time to do these things, right? And when you're in the best position to. Do not leave companies' work and go and jump on, oh, because Colin said I should do this when they ask for help, I'll go and do it. You can get sacked. Just be wise about what you do. Read books, right? Those are one of the amazing places you can get information. Right? Read books about psychology. Read books about business, right? The business of design. Get into understanding how things function, right? How people see things, right? Read information because there are thousands of information you'll find in books, right? Quality books that you rarely ever find being talked about, right? I learned how to become a design manager, right, on the job, and through the help of information I got through books, right? Because books are everything, like guys. Yeah. Then be a collaborator, be a communicator, and be an opportunist, and be organized, right? You don't want to get into a company for the first time and you are not proactive, you are not communicating, you're not asking questions, you're not letting people be informed about where you are currently in the design process or what you're currently doing. You always want to be give yourself full autonomy and other people as well. You want to show people how organized you are in your work, right? Even in your design files. Name your layers for God's sake. Do not have a scattered board. You can always have a no, I don't mean quote unquote don't have a scattered board, right? But I'm like, do not give a scattered board to an engineer as handover. Don't do that, right? Don't create opportunity for people to see your mess ups, right? You can have a board where you're designing crazy, right? Everything's scattered, that's beautiful. When it's time to hand over, right? keep things organized, right? Make it easy for people to find things. Make it easy because you're not the only one working on a team, right? Even if you're the only designer in a company, there is going to be a stakeholder, there's going to be product managers, there's going to be everybody jumping on your file. You want to keep things organized, you want to keep things, structured so people find things easily. You want to always be communicating, right? Don't wait for them to ask you what you are doing before you give information about what you're doing and what you're working on. Always be proactive, right? So yeah, then thank you, my guys. I hope I was able to shed light on what's being a design manager is.
Thank you so much, Collins. You were definitely able to shed light on what being a design manager is. And it's pretty much interesting to see someone being a design manager in Nigeria, right? Maybe not from Nigeria, but then in Nigeria. And definitely we are going to be seeing the evolution of design managers come more into the tech space, right?
Hopefully.
And many startups, hopefully. Yeah. So if we have questions, we can either raise up our hands, right? So we take a few questions, maybe about 2-3 questions, right? Because I believe that he has spoken a lot, and it's many of what he's spoken about would have been able to answer like many of the questions that we have in mind. So we can just use the raise hand feature, right? You can use the raise hand feature and just click on that hand icon, so I'll know that your hands are raised. However, if you are a little bit shy, you can just type in a question in the chat, right? So this will be the times for you to type a question. If you've typed your question before, you can resend it, right? So I'll be taking about 2-3 questions, or maybe 4, who knows, right? So please, let's ask our questions. Yeah, I'm not seeing any hands raised. It looks like okay. So Olaya Nifemi, please ask your question.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Chief.
What I want to ask is it's not about this week, it's about last week. I wanted to ask if it's possible for us to get the recording of previous classes. I missed last week's class due to unavoidable circumstances.
Okay, so yeah, definitely we will send it in. That's something we've been working on. Last week class was very extended, so we went for like quite long hours, right? So, and we've been working on optimizing it for everybody, right? So everyone can view it. So yeah, it's something that we're working on, and definitely once we are done with that, we'll definitely send it in.
Oh, we send it to our email. I mean, what will we
Emails,
send
yeah.
it to? Sorry.
To our emails.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So Junior, good luck. What's up? Your hands are raised.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Fine. Please, this live lesson we just did now, is the recording going to be seen in our email tomorrow?
Yes. As soon as you're able to, optimize your recording and do whatever you want to do on it, definitely we're going to send it, and you can always listen to the session again.
Okay, thank you. That's my question.
All right. Thank you, Junior. Good luck. Augusta, what's up? Your question, please. Looks like they're asking me questions rather than asking the speaker questions. So Collins, you did a very great job. Hello, Augusta, please. Your mic.
Thank you. Hello everyone. My name is Augusta. Okay, I really want to thank Collins for this amazing lecture. So my question is there any available resources on the internet or articles you can share for us to read more on this design management here?
Unfortunately, there is no really good resources out there for design management, but I'm currently compiling one, right? Especially for those who would like to become design managers. So I'm compiling, right, and also like documenting my own processes, so which I can also make available. But definitely I'll be sharing a link to the resource that I'm compiling. I'll send it to Obialiju, so definitely share it to you guys. You share it to the team and then send it to your email, right? And you can also reach out to me personally after this to remind me about the resource if you also want me to share it with you personally. But yes, I will definitely share a resource.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Right. So looks like more people are now raising up their hands. This is what happens when you're on Twitter space. I mean, Pexels EMA session. Right. Some people don't want to talk until somebody talks, and then the chain reaction continues. So let me just get a full view of the way the hands are raised right here. So if you have raised your hand before, you can put your hands down, please. Thank you. You can unraise your hand. You can okay. So Erica Amos, what's up?
Hi, Obi. Thank you so much, Collins. I really learned a lot. My question is, my question is going to be a little bit personal. So my question is, how did you start your design journey? Were you first off UI UX designer or UI designer, and how long have you been a PDM? Yeah.
Okay, great question actually. So I started designing since 2017, but then I started professionally like in 2018. So I started off as a self-taught designer, basically designing from. So I first of all became like a. I got exposed to design through product development, right? Trying to learn front end, and then I realized that I couldn't wait for front end because it was quite tough. So I started picking up design, and then as I started designing, I was basically learning off resources, crowdfunding, and paying for resources and getting taught how to do these things. I didn't attend any boot camp, right? But it was basically from resources all over the internet. And then I started learning on the job once I got my first internship. So it was basically all those resources and everything I learned, and then learning on the job, right, was what actually got me to this point. So ever since then, I've always been like that, learning on the job, collaborating with people, picking up new and new improved resources or new ways to do things from my peers, and I grew that way to the point where I got the opportunity to become a design manager. So before I got to the point where I could become a design manager, I'm someone who's quite strategic, right, with how I approach my career. So um, if I know I want to change my job, right, I'm going to give myself 6 months, right, or yeah, 6 months to 8 months to get the new job, right? What do I mean by that is I will start making preparations for that, right? I will start implementing strategies to do that. So I realized that when I was in 3 years into design that I don't want to keep designing for a long period of time. I realized I was enjoying more talking with people, managing processes, right? Scaling teams than I enjoyed actually designing at some point. So I was like, okay, I think I should start making making those steps, taking those steps to grow into becoming a design manager. So what I started doing then was um, I started looking for resources. I couldn't find these resources, so I took up project and product management classes. I started collaborating more with product managers. I started getting insights from how they do things. I started talking with design founders. I started basically making some moves on how to improve and pick up skills that would help me become a design manager. And I started following design managers currently in the industry, right, in the Europe, and seeing how they were doing, and that enabled me to become a design manager. So I took the opportunity when that happened. And what I did was I realized that most companies in Nigeria do not give room to grow into a design manager because they are not aware of the importance of design management. So when I started working for European companies, I started, searching for companies that give room for design management. So I strategically go on and put myself in that position of becoming a design manager. So when the slots became open, I was the best candidate in the team to become a design manager, and then I became a design manager. And I've been a design manager for the past since last year. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you need like a portfolio or something to apply, or you just use your past work, or something that PDMs use to apply for PDM jobs?
All right. So honestly, I didn't have a portfolio for my design management. So the only thing closest to management I had, right, was projects I did from product management, boot camps. So those are the closest thing I had, but that didn't really do much in getting the jobs, right? So it was basically my past experiences as lead designer, right? The fact that I led a team, I led 1, 2, 3 teams, or 4 teams, right? And I scaled the team. So basically those experiences and the fact that I was able to lead projects by myself as well, also like helped me get a job. So I got my design management job in-house, right? When I mean by in-house, I mean I was in the company already, right? So when the role came up, with the fact that I was showing good quality leadership skills and traits, right, in how I approach client management, in how I was, approaching collaboration. When I came into the company, 3 weeks into the company, the client was like, "Oh my God, this designer is amazing! Like, where did you guys get this designer from?" Right? And um, after 3 months in the company, the founder of the company, the design founder of the company, sent me a message like, "Hey Collins, so over the past 3 months you've joined, here are the feedbacks you got, right? You have amazing leadership skills and qualities, right? Keep it up." So that was a win for me, right? I was always putting myself in the spotlight. You saw all those things I listed on the slide, talking about things you can do, right? I was
Yeah.
doing everything, right? Every single thing. And that, put me on the spotlight in terms of every other person that was a manager. And they were like, "Oh, when it was time to become a design manager, they asked around who would like to become one. Nobody raised their hands except me." And they were like, "Yes, you were actually the person we were hoping to become a design manager. So you're the person leading the front." And I got a job, right? So yeah. But right now, if I'm to leave the company at any point, all right, which I'm hoping I don't, but if I'm to leave, I'll be.
Hello, can anybody hear him?
No, I think he went out a bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let me.
Anna, are you here?
Yeah, I am here. So
Okay. I want to be sure so that. So I think his network went off. Is there any other question?